I'm Chase Mortensen,
And I'm Aiden Sakic.
and this is our video essay on what develops a psychopath. Murder is something that to most people is incomprehensible. But there are people who will do it, regardless of guilt or consequence. The type of people who commit in the act of killing typically are desensitized and lack emotion towards living things. Today we will dive into what develops a psychopath. A psychopath is someone who has little to no empathy and is very antisocial and egotistical. Would you say you're a spur-of-the-moment kind of person, as in you rarely plan ahead?
Somewhat agree.
Okay. Would you say it's okay to cheat on your partner as long as you don't get caught?
No.
Okay. If something better comes along, it's okay to cancel a long-standing appointment?
Sort of agree.
Seeing an animal injured or in pain doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Strongly disagree.
Driving fast cars, riding roller coasters, and skydiving appeal to me.
Strongly disagree.
It doesn't matter to me if I have to step on other people to get what I want.
Strongly disagree.
I'm very persuasive.
Agree.
Would you be good at a dangerous job because you can make up your mind quickly?
Agree.
Do you find it easy to keep it together when others are cracking under pressure?
Yes.
If you're able to con someone, that's their problem. They deserve it. Agree?
No.
Most of the time, when things go wrong, it's somebody else's fault, not yours.
Strongly disagree.
Psychopaths have other intentions other than hurting people or things. Some lead normal lives, however, it is not easy to restrain their illness. Most psychopaths' upbringings are either parentless or the person in charge of them did worse than having just taken off and left them for dead. There is also a better chance that they have another mental illness at hand. The reason murder is something that many psychopaths partake in is because of the feeling of power and them filling something that is empty inside, like all humans are trying to do. Fill something that is empty. Example, stomach needs food, your time needs hobbies, and many other things.
What we do know is psychotic behavior is not necessarily created by poor or lack of parenting. It can be something in the person's genes or a traumatic event as a young person. Most of the time, psychotic behavior is rare in nature and usually caused by the way they were parented, by abuse and not love. The type of psychopath that kills is typically different from a regular psychopath because they have a feeling of insignificance or overcompensating on confidence by taking someone's life. Not everyone who kills has mental disorders because it might be out of necessity to survive or just because it makes their life easier to deal with.
What develops a psychopath is a very broad question with many different answers, so there are many ways to attack the question and find the answer you were looking for. A lot of things can develop a psychopath, but sometimes there is nothing physical that causes it. It can just be a chemical imbalance in the brain that causes them to lack the ability to have intense emotions. A psychopath is usually born when their parents lack empathy or compassion, or they have multiple mental illnesses at hand. Abuse can lead to horrible things, but it can also create a psychopath if there is enough torment. But everyone is different and can take different amounts of stress and pain. Most psychopaths are desensitized and unfazed by some of the most disturbing things.
Criminal-minded psychopaths are 3 times more likely to commit violent crimes and show acts of aggression compared to regular criminals. There is no cure for psychopathy, but there is treatment available, such as psychological therapy, to deal with trauma. Punishment does not affect psychopaths the way it affects regular-minded people. Their brain craves instant gratification, and they don't fear things like jail time. But not all psychopaths have the same upbringing. A lot of them are almost identical, and most of them are very similar, and it shows that the environment plays into the way they behave.
Psychopaths don't always have a poor upbringing. They could just have been traumatized, or it's just overwhelming mental illness that they are trying to manage. Everyone is on a journey, and some people are tougher than others with bad luck or poor conditions around them. Past experiences form and mold our personality, so it would make sense that psychopaths typically have similar early life circumstances and factors that make them who they are in their adult life. Psychopaths aren't bad people. They just have an illness that can make it difficult to lead a regular life. There doesn't need to be trauma or abuse for someone to become a psychopath, but those will definitely push towards that direction. There is no concrete way psychopaths develop. However, there are many things that work like catalysts, such as drugs and alcohol and other mental illnesses, or a poor childhood environment, are three big contributors to psychotic behavior.